Hi, I'm Bart Pear with the company Site Concepts and TowerLease.net, and today I'm going to show you how to avoid the 5 costliest cell tower lease mistakes that ground lease owners make that can cause you to lose out on tens, even hundreds of thousands of dollars in income. Before you enter into a lease, renew, renegotiate, or even sell your wireless ground lease, make sure you understand these 5 costly mistakes so you can avoid them with your property. Now quickly, let me spend 30 seconds to tell you about Site Concepts. Site Concepts is a cell tower development company that was started in 1999. The founders of Site Concepts have actually been in the cell tower business longer than that, since the early 90s, and have been involved in literally thousands of wireless tower site deployments over that time. Now, Site Concepts' role with those towers varies from developer to site manager to consultant, but in many cases, Site Concepts is the landowner and ground lease owner for these towers just like you. Site Concepts has the same goals of maximizing their income from cell tower leases and avoiding costly mistakes just like you do. And we started this website, TowerLease.net, to share the lessons and knowledge we have learned over the years. So with that, let's get to the 5 most common and costly mistakes we see ground lease owners make. Number 1 is a common strategy the tower lease consolidators use to get you to accept a cash buyout of your lease, and that's fear. You've most likely gotten the phone calls where a salesperson tells you that a phone company merger or some new revolutionary technology is going to cause a massive reduction in tower sites and leases, and your safest move is to lock in your profits now by selling the lease to them. Better to get something than nothing, they tell you. You know, there are many valid reasons to sell your lease. You could use the money for retirement. Maybe you got to pay for a daughter's wedding, or maybe you're just selling the land and you want to sell the tower with it. You can use the money to cover medical bills, or maybe you want to use the cash to start a business. Those are all valid reasons, but fear that your rental income might be reduced or disappear is not one of them. Yes, mergers happen and some tower sites do lose tenants, but historically the risk is very low. Obviously, I can't predict what's going to happen with your specific tower in the future, but I can tell you that an unrealistic fear of losing tenants should not be your primary reason for selling. Avoid getting caught up in fear-based decision-making by asking yourself this question: if my tower site is such a bad risk, why do they want to buy it? You know, at Site Concepts, we are very bullish on the tower business, and when we buy a lease or partner with a landowner, it's because we expect to make money from that tower lease over the long time. I know, crazy, isn't it? We don't buy leases for towers we expect to drop in value anytime soon, and neither does any other tower company out there, despite what they may tell you. So that leads to mistake number 2, falling for the promise of splitting future ground space profits. Now, if the lease consolidators can't get you to take a reduced price for your lease out of fear, many are now offering to give you a piece of the profits if the tower produces more income down the road. And at first glance, this looks like a great deal. Settle for less money up front, but have the chance for more money down the road. Well, the truth is in the fine print, and this is where that additional future revenue just disappears. Many lease consolidators limit this sharing of future profits to newly leased ground space only. And what that means is you can count on getting zero money out of the existing tenants, no matter how high their rents may go in the future. Think about it. The tower lease consolidators can raise the existing tenant's rent as high as they want, but if the existing tenant doesn't lease more ground space, you get nothing. And with the way equipment is shrinking in size these days, the chance of an existing tenant is going to need to lease more ground space is very, very small. Your only hope to get more money down the road is a brand new additional tenant locating on the tower and leasing additional ground space. But here's a dirty little secret in the tower industry. The easy money is with the existing tenants. That's where you can double and triple your monthly income if you handle the lease correctly. The hard money is actually finding brand new additional tenants for the tower, and unfortunately that's the only scenario where you're going to see a dime. Unlike a lease consolidator, Site Concepts has partnered with a number of landowners where we've basically said, all right, you're making X dollars a month right now. Any extra income above that X dollars a month that we generate, we'll share between us. Period. No fine print, no exceptions. If you enter into an agreement with someone that promises future profits, be very clear it isn't limited to just ground space. Costly mistake number 3, allowing a perpetual easement to be placed on your property. Now this is really common sense. A perpetual easement means you are giving away control of your land forever. Years down the road, when there is no more tower on your property, no active lease, and no rent coming in, why should that lease consolidator still have control of your property? They shouldn't, but if you agree to a perpetual easement, they will. And a perpetual easement can create real problems when you go to sell the land or try to develop it for some other purpose. And this can severely reduce your land's value. To make matters worse, the lease consolidator could turn around and make you pay them to remove the perpetual easement when it should never have been on your land in the first place, basically holding your property for ransom. Avoid this horrible situation by not agreeing to a perpetual easement, but instead insisting on a temporary easement that disappears when the tower is out of use. Costly mistake number 4, using a consultant who is in bed with the wireless companies. Unfortunately, there are consultants and lease negotiators in the marketplace that do not have your best interests at heart. Instead of fighting to get you more money, they actually sabotage you to take less money through bad advice and the same fear tactics I talked about earlier. These consultants are actually paid by the wireless carriers to get you to accept a worse deal than you should. And these consultants make big money from the carriers while they're charging flat fees for their services to you. And it's actually these flat fees that are the big tip-off. Be wary of any consultant or negotiator who takes a flat fee for helping you with your cell tower lease, especially if that fee seems low. Saving a few dollars on advice up front could cost you thousands in the long run. And finally, costly mistake number 5. Treating your lease like found money. A cell tower on your property is a golden opportunity, but we talk to landowners every week who squander that opportunity because they treat the lease like found money. They don't spend any time laying out clear revenue goals for their tower lease or creating a strategy to make those goals happen. Site Concepts has personally worked with landowners who were getting a few $100s a month in rent from their ground lease, and we turned that into a $250,000 asset for them with no money out of their pocket. But that didn't happen without a clear goal and strategy to make it happen. Now, there are 3 basic revenue goals with a cell tower ground lease. You can sell the lease for the most cash possible, generate the maximum in monthly income month after month, and create a high-value real estate asset over the long term. Now, I don't have time in this video to explain how you create that asset, but just know that we have created assets for landowners that are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now, often a landowner's revenue goals is a combination of these 3. Say you got a child who's going off to college in 3 years. Your mission might be to maximize your monthly lease income over the next 3 years, and then at the time your child leaves for college, to sell that ground lease for as much cash as possible to help pay for college. Now, that's a very clear revenue goal, and it turns out there's an exact strategy for turning that goal into a reality. But if you treat the lease like found money and have no revenue goals, that's simply never going to happen. In fact, of the 5 mistakes I listed in this video, not having a clear revenue goal and strategy for your lease is by far the most costly. And because it's so important, I'd like to give you an opportunity to fix that situation right now. I'd like to offer you a 30-minute one-on-one tower lease strategy session where I will personally help you clarify your revenue goal for your ground lease and lay out the exact strategy for making that goal happen. Site Concepts has been paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to create strategies and achieve revenue goals for tower leases, so this tower lease strategy session has real value to you. And like I said, during the session, I will personally help you clarify your goals, evaluate your lease opportunities, and then create a personalized strategy to maximize your revenue according to the goals you define. And I will do all of that at no cost to you. The tower lease strategy session is completely free, and really there's only one catch. This strategy session is only for landowners who already have an existing ground lease or have been approached by a carrier or tower company about putting a tower on their land. If you're interested in putting a tower on your land but have not been approached by anyone, this strategy session is not for you. There's actually a section on the Site Concepts website for submitting properties in this situation for consideration, and I would ask that you go to siteconcepts.net to do just that. But if you are a lease owner or have been approached by a carrier and you want to make the most of the opportunity you have available to you, please consider investing 30 minutes of your time to talk one-on-one with a cell tower professional that can lay out a specific strategy for maximizing the revenue of your tower lease for your specific goals. And as an added incentive, everyone who participates in a strategy session will get a free online subscription to Cell Tower Lease Insider magazine. As I said, the Tower Lease strategy sessions are free, and you can schedule yours by calling the phone number below. If it's outside of normal East Coast business hours, please click the register button below. The button will take you to a page showing available session times where you can select a time for your one-on-one session and provide the background information for the call. No matter what you end up doing with your tower lease, I promise during the strategy session you will learn some insider secrets of the tower industry and how you can use those secrets to maximize your income in a way that matches your goals. Plus, you will get your free subscription to the CTL Insider, which will keep you on top of the latest news and happenings in the cell tower industry. Now, session times fill up quickly, so go ahead and reserve your time now. For Site Concepts and TowerLease.net, this is Bart Pear. Thanks for taking the time to watch the videos. I really hope you learned something valuable today. I look forward to speaking with you. Have a great day.